Hello and welcome to the next video of my Worlds 2023 series where we're going to cover the bot laners, AD carries in this tournament. We're going to go through all 23 of them in some part, go over their stats first, identify who the outliers were in each statistical category, giving us an idea of the players we may not respect all that much or haven't seen. Then we'll go over their champion pool differences, and lastly, their rankings. If you end up skipping to the end, which you've probably already skipped, but for those that stick around for a minute, if you skip to the end and you miss why I may put a player, you may miss why I put a player where they are because of champion pool things or stats. I think that some of the stuff is rather indicative. The eye test only is part of the determination. And eyes can be deceiving. So, yeah, that's the deal with this video. So, statistically, this is in no order. Udapon's stats are fried because he played top lane for the majority of the split. So, we're not going to include his stats here. In the KDA department, the three best, aiming from KT Rolster, 8.9. Which is obviously disgusting. Light, Weibo, 7.3. Wako from PSG Talon, 7.7. So those three are the KDA kings. The three lowest, Gumayushi, 4.1 from T1. Karzi from Mad Lions and Crowny from BDS, both 3.2. So once again, Mad Lions and BDS carries at the bottom of KDA. CS per minute. Who is getting the most farm? Well, Gumayushi. 10.6 CS per minute. Aiming, 10.5. Crowny, 10.3. Yes, Crowny actually gets the third most farm in this group here. The three lowest. So these three, not nearly as much farm. We're looking at 1 CS per minute down on average, just domestic versus domestic. Noah from Fnatic, 9.3. That is a big surprise given how much fanfare Noah gets. I think there's a lot to be said, and I think I'm going to go into that a bit in this video. FBI from NRG, 9.3, and then Yeon from Team Liquid, 9.2. So on average, he's going to give up 14 CS every 10 minutes to Gumayushi. Domestically, in a vacuum, let alone the difference in just the LCK versus the LCS. Like, it could get ugly down there. KP, who is the most involved in their team's kills? Aiming, 3 out of every 4, 75%, once again. Noah, 73.9, so Fnatic fights around Noah. Noah hand diffs his opponents. Shun, 73.5 from CFO Flying Oyster. He is also very high in KP. The three lowest we have are Yeon from Team Liquid and Slater from GAM Esports, 65.2. Some of Slater's stats, I believe, are from SBTC Esports. Could be wrong, but keep that in mind. And then Stixay from Golden Guardians is the lowest, 62%. So almost only 3 out of every 5 kills versus 3 out of every 4. That is quite a difference. Gold per minute. Who's getting the most gold outright? Slater, 490 gold per minute. Aiming, 502. And then CEO from Rainbow 7 in Latin America, 500 gold per minute. The three lowest, the three least, gold, I don't know, they don't get gold, these AD carries. Noah, 446 for Fnatic. FBI, 443. And Yeon, 441. So once again, the three players that don't farm a lot, don't get involved a lot. In the case of Yeon, and don't get gold as a result. Now, the three highest gold share. So if a team's really good and you get a lot of gold, that doesn't necessarily mean you are the top dog, right? It depends on the share of it all. Aiming, 26% of the team's gold goes to him. He is the hardest carry in this tournament. Artemis, 25.7 from Team Wales in Vietnam. And then CEO, 25.8%. The three lowest. So these are glorified AB carries with other players on their team. They are not the outright carry when it comes to gold, at least getting the resources. I should have rephrased that. In terms of resource distribution. Yeon, 24%, sorry, 23.5%. Very low. Berserker, 24% from Cloud9. I thought that was a surprise. And then Noah from Fnatic, only 23.9%. In terms of damage, so who is actually dealing damage? You know, outright. Who is the one that is actually like popping the other players in the mouth across from them? Hansama, 775 DPM for G2. Karzi from Mad Lions with the most at this event, 807 DPM over a 25-game span where Mad Lions actually had a losing record. Truly 1v9. And then FBI from NRG, 740 DPM, which was a surprise to me. That's a lot of DPM from a guy. I mean, I really didn't think that. I wouldn't think FBI was dealing that much damage. I mean, we have big names on this board here. The three lowest, Berserker, 592, Crowny, 582, and then Light from Weibo, 611. Yes, Light makes an appearance once again, but not for a great achievement. The three highest shares, so we've got damage, but hell, maybe the whole team's dealing damage. Who's actually the hardest carry when it comes to damage on this board? Deft, 31.1% from D plus Kia. He's one of the top ones. Karzi leads the way at 32.9% of Mad Lions damage, and Artemis 30.8% for Team Whales. Now the three lowest, so these guys are secondary carries on their team, pretty much outright. Berserker only 24.6% of Cloud9's damage. Sticksay from Golden Guardians 26%, and then Slater from GAM 25.6%. So that's a big difference. We're looking at an 8% difference. 7.3. Well, actually, shoot, who am I kidding? Between Berserker and Karzi, it's an 8% difference. And yes, the DPMs are not. I mean, the DPMs are actually a big diffy, like 210 DPM more for Karzi versus Berserker. That is a massive difference in play style and impact on the game. Truly. In terms of laning, so who are the strongest laners? Obviously, supports play a role in this. Hansama, on average in the LEC, is up 445 gold at 15 minutes. Wako from PSG, 462. And Shun from CFO, up 720 gold at 15 minutes on average. That is massive. Shun will not be out of place at this event. He will stand his ground in play-ins and probably be one of, if not the best AD carry there with those kind of numbers. The three laners that struggle domestically. Noah, on average, down 129 gold at 15 minutes, which would surprise a lot of people. FBI down 73, and Artemis down 67. Three highest CS diffies. On average, Shun's up 10 CS. So a CS 10 CS at 15 minutes. In the PCS, Karzi up 8, Hansama up 7. The three players that are behind, we have Noah down 4, and then Slater and Artemis both down 3 CS at 10 minutes. Obviously not massive differences here in terms of, once again, like we were looking yesterday, only Nuke really was on struggle street in mid lane, and then after that it was like everybody's kind of just average at laning domestically, and once again it's happening in this case with AD carries. In terms of the three best in terms of, well, I said in terms of twice, in creating a XP difference. Aiming, on average, up 347 XP at 15 minutes. Hansama 361, Shun 274. The three lowest, Slater down 228, Noah down 49, and Gumi Yushi actually down 108 XP at 15 minutes. Not massive, of course. And I think the things we can draw from this is one big thing is that Shun is a very good laner in the PCS, and I imagine he should be a player that really has a chance to carry CFO through. Honestly, surprise some people. That I think that there's an angle there. He and Jimmy, especially if Rest gets it together in top lane, who knows? And yeah, Han Sama obviously very good with G2. Mickey winning MVP, not a surprise. And then Noah. Noah's numbers aren't great. As far as solo kills are concerned, this is not outright solo kills. This is solo kills divided by games played. The three most aggressive players by a mile. Slater had 15 solo kills in 43 games. That is a big difference between the next highest, which is Root with 5 and 29 for Loud in the CB low. And then Stixay 6 and 31 for Golden Guardian. So those three players the most opportunistic. And in Slater's case, very aggressive. Which is going to be a big proponent. I'm a big proponent for that in Worlds play-in stage for the VCS players, especially. That's how they really create some chaos and have an opportunity. So I am excited for that. The three most passive players. Shun had 1 solo kill in 41 games. Deft 2 and 48, and Pays 2 and 50. So those three players, not many solo kills. Pays actually has more pentas in his career than more pentas in summer than he had solo kills. 3 pentas, 2 solo kills. So, some things to draw from these stats that would surprise you relative to everybody else. We didn't even talk about Ruler, Elk, Gala. Those three. Yeah, we didn't even talk about Ruler, Elk, and Gala. And I'm sure in some people's eyes, those are the 3 best AD carries in the tournament. So, honestly, it's definitely something to think about, right? That they're not obviously great players, but they are not outliers versus everyone else, domestic stat-wise. So, that's it for the stats. Now to the champion pools. Okay. You see, this board's a lot cleaner. That's because the AD carry pool always is smaller than every other pool. Actually surprising that jungle was as big as it was, but that's because people's pocket picks and things like that. There aren't a ton of different AD carries. So the uniqueness is very valuable because not a lot of diversity in the bot lane in summer. We are not including Udapon's champs, as I said, in the stats portion. So, Gumayushi, 3 most played, Xayah, Kesa, Aphelios. That is a common trend. Some uniqueness, he played Vayne. He played Jhin. He is the only person to play Jhin this past split. A lot of people would say that is for a reason. So in the Vayne, only a few players played Vayne as well. So that's some uniqueness out of him. Light from Weibo, Kesa, Aphelios, Zeri. He played Ziggs and Kalista, 2 champions not a lot of people played also. Pays, Kesa, Aphelios, Zeri. Some uniqueness out of Pays. He played Twitch. Only a couple people did that. He played Tristana, which maybe half the players at this tournament did. So that's something. Yeah, that's something to note. Nyla as well. Gumayushi and Light both played Nyla. Not a ton of people played Nyla, though, when you really look at this event. In champion pool wise, Deft, Kesa, Aphelios, Varus, his 3 most played. Deft also played Ziggs. So there was Ziggs, there was Nyla there. Karzi from Mad Lions, the first Western player. Xayah, Aphelios, and Ezreal, his 3 most played. He also played Kalista, Sivir, Nyla. He might be the only Western. Yeah, he is the only Western player to play Nyla on this board. So that's something to note, right? Ruler, JDG, Xayah, Kesa, Aphelios. Something interesting, he played Tristana. He didn't play Nyla. Really, his champion pool is pretty, looks pretty standard to me. Nothing out of whack with him. Elk, BLG, Xayah, Aphelios, and Jinx were his 3 most played. He also played Kog'Maw, which not a ton of people played. He played Tristana, and I don't know. He played Lucian. Half the people here played Lucian. Excuse me, played Ashe. A few people played Ashe, maybe half the tournament. Aiming, Kesa Aphelios Zeri. He played Tristana. He played Vayne. He played Nyla. So some Vayne and Nyla there are picks that not everybody played. Crowny BDS, we've got Xayah Aphelios Zeri. He also played Kog'Maw, Vayne, Sivir. Yeah. So that's that. Played Samira as well. Samira, not a super common pick at this event either. Probably should have mentioned that. Guma Light Pays also played Samira. Yeon from Team Liquid, Kesa, Aphelios, and Ashe were his most played. So an Ashe enjoyer hits the board. Something interesting with his, he played Tristana. He played Lucian. So there is something with, well, did he? Yeah, he did. He played Lucian. Artemis from Team Wales. It's the standard 3. Xayah, Kesa, Aphelios. Artemis also played Callista. He played Tristana, Ashe, Nyla. Hansama from G2. Kesa, Callista, and Kog'Maw were his 3 most played champions. So the most diverse champion pool here, which is not a surprise. It's G2. He also played a bit of Lucian. He played Draven. Hansama Draven gets more credit than I think it. I'm not a big Hansama Draven guy. He beats up on bad players with it. Berserker Cloud9. Kesa, Aphelios, Ashe. He also played Kog'Maw going into this event. Obviously, the Ashe is not super common, and being one of his most played, he and Yeon must have scrimmed against each other quite a bit. It would make sense. Shun from CFO, Xayah, Kesa, and Jinx were his 3 most played. Some uniqueness out of his champion pool. He played Vayne. He played Ziggs. So Shun, a big surprise in the stat portion of this video. Gala, LNG, Xayah, Aphelios, Jinx. Something fun with his champion pool. He also played Ziggs. We obviously saw him play Ziggs in Game 5 of the finals against JDG. Noah, Xayah, Kesa, Aphelios. He played Callista, which is something not everybody played here. He played Lucian as well. FBI, standard 3, Xayah, Kesa, Aphelios. He played some Ashe. I mean, we're getting to the nitty gritty now where not everybody, I mean, people played only 8 champions, 9 champions in the whole split. Stixxay, Golden Guardians, Kesa, Aphelios, and Ezreal were his 3 most played. He played Tristana. He played Lucian a little bit. Wako, PSG, Xayah, Aphelios, Kesa. He also played Tristana. CEO from Rainbow 7, Xayah, Kesa, and Zeri were his 3 most played. He also played Draven and Lucian. Champion pool not crazy. Root from Loud in CB LOL. Xayah, Kesa, and Sivir were his 3 most played. So a big Sivir enjoyer here. He also played a bit of Lucian. Slater from Gam Esports finishes us off. Xayah, Kesa, Zeri. I don't know, he played Sivir. He played Draven, but 7 champions in like 28 games or so. I mean, that's not a super diverse champion pool. I know during the Loud video, I had a lot of people tell me, but they scrimmed this or that. They weren't trying. It's like, the difference between them and G2 is that G2 played different stuff. Like, outside of Tinones, a lot of the players on CB LOL are at the bottom of this specific board I've been building. And that means that you can claim that they took their foot off the gas all you want, but they got nothing out of it, where G2 at least actually did scrim and tried out different stuff. So just figured I'd throw that in there. This board obviously much simpler than the other ones. because AD carry pool is the way it is. So that's it for the champion pools. Now on to ranking the AD carries. Okay, now for ranking these players. This is a deep pool. I think you could argue there are, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the top 10 to 12 AD carries in the world at this event. So this is a pretty deep list, I would say. So with that in mind, we're going to start with the bottom feeders here. We're going to go with CEO as last. I think this kid has a lot of potential. Very young. I don't have to race. Very young player. Obviously showed 1v9 potential. Maybe he does really well at this event once more. He did upset Gam last time. But right now, I just need to see a little bit more out of him. And yeah, so he's going to be there. Next, we're going to have Yeon 22nd. Yeon, I don't think is very good. I'm going to be honest with you. I just don't think he's very good. After that, we're probably going to go with Slater. And some people may say, if you have Slater this low, how are Gam going to beat Loud after this or that or the other? Specifically, I mentioned Loud for a reason. Because Style would have been 24th on this board. He is very bad. So, Slater is better. And then after that, we're going to go with Wako from PSG. Just not overly impressed by him. We're going to go with Udapon. Because Udapon, I mean, at this point in his career, I mean, he hasn't been able to play a lot of AD carry games over the last few months. I am kind of curious how he's going to turn out here. We're going to go with Root at 18. I think I've said enough about Root. You know, a lot of people don't like that where I'm going to put him, but the fact of the matter is I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Noah and Root are very similar in terms of the way that they play. And I just don't think that allows for a winning thing at this tournament. You cannot play passive and win at this tournament as a minor region team. You just cannot do it. I think that to think that is wrong. And then you say, oh, well, he doesn't play passive. Well, he gives up a lot of... he better... I mean... Root's 18th. After that, we're going to go Artemis, 17th. And Shun, 16th. I am interested in those two for sure. Artemis and Shun, see how they do at this event. Young players with a lot of potential, a lot of growth, the future of their minor regions. I think that's huge. Those two players, Shun's stats speak for themselves, and Artemis's do as well. They're strong players, and at a young age too. Whereas you have older players like Root, Udapon, Wako, who people are going to give a lot of credit to, that are way older. Like, they're done developing. They are what they are, if not getting worse. Where these players are only going to get better. Next, we're going to go with Stixay, 15th. An older player. FBI, 14th. I was impressed by his DPM. I'm not going to lie. That really did surprise me when I was building this board and really looking at it. But when push comes to shove, I'm just not... I'm just at this event. FBI time and time again at Worlds has looked out of place. He has not looked competitive, and that's a problem. Next is going to be Crowny, 13th. And Noah, 12th. So Crowny, I think, like, the thing is, like, Crowny's stats are so much better than Noah's, and he carries harder than Noah. But the thing is, like, in the team fight, Fnatic wins, and it's because Noah's hand stiff. And so that tells me he's better than them. That's just, push comes to shove. He is better than Crowny. Now, the thing is, at this tournament, that is, like I just said, that's not going to work. Like, and he's not a rookie. A lot of people have misconceptions. They forget that he played for KT a couple of years ago. He's no rookie. Excuse me, not 18 years old. He's like 21, 22 years old, which is still young. But at the same time, there are younger players in this tournament. The younger players, Exakick is one of those players I'm really looking forward to next year. But I digress. 11. So, 11th, we're going to go Berserker. I think that there is a case to be made similarly to the Noah Crowny situation, that it is the same. That I think Berserker just hand diffs Crowny despite the gold differential and things like that, which I think is a thing. So Berserker is 11th. Hansama is 10th. And I think back last, probably can't hear me because I'm facing this. I think back to my last Worlds where I had comp. I forget where I had comp, but somebody told me comp should be top 5. And I was like, there's no fucking way. And I considered Upset up there pretty highly. I don't remember where I had him, but I had him higher than comp, I think. And a lot of people didn't like that. And now I'm thinking to myself, where do I want to put Carzzy? Because Carzzy, in my opinion, is the best Western AD carry at this event. Those numbers speak for themselves. Damage output 1v9. Yes, Mad Lions are not as good as G2, but take that into account. Should take that into account. So, the thing is, like, these Eastern AD carries are just so freaking good. So, in the end, Carzzy's 9th. I don't think he's better than any of these Eastern AD carries. Maybe Deft. Maybe. But even Deft is doing a lot of work that you wouldn't really expect with that damage share number. So, Carzzy's 9th. Now is the difficult part. Let's rank these 8 players. So, easily, well, I said it was going to be tough, but Deft is definitely 8th to me here. And then Gumayushi's 7th. Light 6th. No, Gala 6th. Light 5th. And that's going to shock a lot of people. A lot of people probably would like aiming below those two. So the way I look at it, Guma left a lot to be desired. He sucked in summer when Faker was gone. I did the same thing to Zeus. Blamed him a bit. I blamed Owner a bit. And I'm going to blame Carrier a bit tomorrow. But it's going to be hard for me not to put Carrier number 1. But regardless, Guma did not 1v9 like he needed to. Obviously, last Worlds, he came in, a lot of scrutiny, and then he had the best KDA at the tournament, this, that, or the other. Do it again, buddy. I don't know what else to tell you. You haven't looked good as of late. But statistically very strong. So I think that this is the thing where the eye test versus stats tell me he's been very strong. But then again, I think Light and Crisp have been massive for Weibo, so it's hard to tell how much of that Crisp, how much of that is Light. I think Gala's been excellent alongside Hung. Hung is nowhere near as good as Crisp or Carria or Kellen or Mickey. So that sort of stuff, I think, plays a role. Hilly, obviously, can be here and can be here. He is the Shy of bot lane. He is the Western, the Shy, if the Shy played support. Next, aiming is 4th. Stats. I've been a big aiming supporter. As much as I'm a Yagao hater, I'm an aiming supporter when it comes to gameplay. Obviously, off the rift, I am probably against his decision making. But nevertheless, statistically very strong. The strongest carry at this tournament when it comes to gold share. So like KT run through him quite a bit. I mean, more so than any other team runs through their AD carry. Frankly, through any player when it comes to resources. So he's 4th. I think he is excellent. A lot of people forget aiming, and I think that it's a shame because honestly, statistically, split after split after split, he performs. And he has done it for a long time. So he is 4th for me. Elk is 3rd. Pays is 2nd. And Ruler is 1st. Of course, Ruler's 1st. Another JDG player 1st. Who would have thought? 3 of 4 so far. Excellent player. Pays his replacement. Has taken the world by storm. That's a different video. I think tomorrow's. So I'm recording this Tuesday. Wednesday it's being uploaded, scheduled because I won't be around to actually do it myself. Thursday supports. Then Friday would be my video where I go over that sort of stuff. So Friday that video may come out where we're going to kind of go over that in depth. Not just that, but other things as well leading into this event. But it's really going to be interesting. That's like one of the biggest things I want to see is Pays versus Ruler. Really, really want to see that. Elk, obviously, excellent player. I did say in the top 10 of, Deft probably isn't in the top 10 in the world. But Guma, so it's 7 out of the top 10 in the world are at this event. And then you throw in like Viper. I probably have to look at the LPL list and actually just be like, oh yeah, I forgot who the hell I'm thinking of. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.